actionfigureresource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.
A collecting guide to the Fantastic Four. This is a guide to Marvel's first family in plastic form, along with some tips on the most valuable figures on the secondary market. The comic was the first of the big Marvel creations by Stan Lee to kick off their Silver Age success story all the way back in November 1961. In '67, Hanna-Barbera produced 20 episodes of their first animated series, which was similar to the Spider-Man show around that time. As with so many other comic book superheroes, the FF began with Mego, the abiding favourite of so many collectors. These came out in 1975. Reed Richards is Mr. Fantastic, a brilliant scientist who took a rocket into space only to find himself and his family pelted with cosmic rays. Rather than dying horribly, they developed superpowers. Reed's abilities are complete control over his stretchy body, which usually entails long arms and legs being wrapped around things. Now, in Mego form, this wasn't represented. His arms and legs are just the standard models, same as everyone else. However, that gave kids the reasons to start improvising with household items for their play. Some long strips of stretchy blue material would more than adequately double for these dynamic limbs. Sue Storm, later to be Sue Richards, is the Invisible Woman. As well as becoming impossible to see, she has the power to generate force shields and tactical force fields. Now, the Mego toy, again, doesn't feature the ability to go invisible. In fact, few of Sue's toys have. But again, it's a power that lends itself to imaginative play. All these figures had the same standard Mego body, with Sue and Reed sporting the classic blue FF jumpsuit. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, hotshot brother of Sue, wore a flaming onesie, and Benjamin Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing, had a similar Mego baby grow with a rocky pattern to represent his rough-and-tumble form. Now, these two are obviously the most fun of the four, representing the quarrelsome sons of the more mature and somewhat boring parental types. Hence, they feature more frequently as toys over the years. Boxed and loose versions of these guys in Mego form all fetch decent prices, especially in great condition. After the Mego figures, the second animated show hit our screens, produced by DePatie Freeling, the same production company behind The Pink Panther. Now, this was the one that removed Johnny Storm the Human Torch from proceedings out of a generalised fear that children would see him on screen and, in an attempt to emulate their hero, actually set themselves on fire. His replacement was Herbie, an annoying robot played by voiceover master Frank Welker, and of course all children realise that fire equals hot. They understand that Johnny has a science fiction magic superpower, and this is not an omission that has occurred before or since, at least not for these reasons. The FF skipped over Mattel's Secret Wars line, unlike many of their Marvel brethren, but appeared in the Toy Biz Marvel Superheroes line of the early 90s, which makes these their first non-Mego action figures. The set of 4 fetched $40 on eBay. Shortly after that, the first actual coordinated tie-in between a toy line and an animated show for the FF occurred, 1994's Fantastic Four animated show, which was released during the 90s heyday of their animated universe, alongside X-Men, Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, and Silver Surfer. Toy Biz retained the license from that earlier superheroes line all the way up to 2007, and so became the most significant producer of Fantastic Four figures throughout their history so far. One of the best aspects of this series was an abundance of new villain characters released for the family to fight with, including Doctor Doom, Annihilus, Super Skrull, Wizard, Psycho Man, and Atuma. There were also support heroes like Medusa and Prince Namor. These were all fairly soft and child-friendly figures with play features in mind, including bendy rubber arms for Reed, and who could forget their Fantasticar playset. Their next appearance was in the first Toy Biz line of Marvel Legends. The Thing appeared in the first wave with posable fingers, and a variant in Series 2 sporting a trench coat, which is the way he walks around. Johnny Storm turned up in Series 2 with a flaming display base, and Reed appeared in Series 5 with interchangeable arms. Notably, Sue Storm was invisible. in that there wasn't a singly selling figure version of her in this line. However, she did turn up in 2 different sets of variants with Herbie in tow and Doom himself, and for the first time her son with Reed, young and gifted Franklin Richards. There was also a set paying homage to the disastrous Heroes Reborn comic series, and these box sets all fetch decent prices on the secondary market, mainly because they are a rare chance to get all 4 of the Fantastic ones together. Not a lot of people remember the 1994 movie made by Roger Corman. This was in fact a contractual obligation made to retain the license, and since they never legally had to release it, they didn't. Some might say the same fate should have befallen the first full theatrical movie released in 2005. In retrospect, it's not all that bad. It just doesn't hold a candle to the then soon-to-emerge Marvel Cinematic Universe films. Either way, it got a toy line from Toy Biz again, all based on their movie likenesses, including a Chris Evans Johnny Storm. This line included a neat, slinky version of Mr. Fantastic. The one that fetches the most on the secondary market is the impressively sculpted Doombot, which was, of course, not in the movie. In 2006, there was a dedicated line of Fantastic Four Classics, again produced by Toy Biz in the same scale as Marvel Legends, similar to their X-Men Classics and Spider-Man Classics lines. There were 2 waves, the first one again swapping Invisible Woman out for a colourful enemy, in this case Super Skrull. Wave 2 featured Sue but not Reed, outlining once again the more interesting members of the team, Johnny and Ben, who appear in pretty much every line. Also Kang the Conqueror and Dragon Man. The 2 that are the most valuable on the secondary market today are Super Skrull and the Invisible Woman. In 2006, a 4th animated series, World's Greatest Heroes, reached TV screens. There was an accompanying planned figure series of stylized versions of the FF with a fresh anime flavour. Unfortunately, it was also the last attempt from Toy Biz to bring us these figures, and this line was never actually released, which is a great shame. In 2007, the Marvel license had passed from Toy Biz to Hasbro, so the next movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer, had a corresponding line of Hasbro figures. In addition, that October, around the 3rd series of Hasbro's new Marvel Legends line, there was a Walmart exclusive All FF wave, which has subsequently become a much sought after set. The Build-A-Figure of Ronan is the crown jewel, but Sue Storm is also greatly prized. Seriously, if you want the most valuable set of Fantastic Four figures to date, this is the one to go for. It is of course important not to forget the other toys released over the years, including Parachute toys in the 70s and several lines of Mini-Mates. Diamond Select released a sturdy looking Thing, and a line of infant-focused Superhero Squad figurines. More recently, Hasbro has continued to release figures within their Marvel Legends and Marvel Universe lines, including a 4-pack with Human Torch once again swapped out for Herbie. And don't forget, both She-Hulk and Spider-Man, among others, have been honorary members of the FF over the years. For many of us, it's a case of waiting for Fox to relinquish their hold on the Fantastic Four license in cinema so they can be reincorporated into the MCU, at which point we're going to get a lot more movie tie-in figures that are liable to be insanely popular. Could take several years, but it's an eventuality that Marvel's first family will return home someday. We hope you've enjoyed this guide. Be sure to check out the main website for all kinds of goodies, including deluxe guides you can purchase and download digitally. Be sure to rate and subscribe, and give us your requests for future videos in the comments section. I've been Alex Shaw for Action Figure Resource.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.